Namaskaram. Hello and welcome to PGurus channel. This is PGurus Prime Time. Today, as always, on Friday night 9 p.m., it is Professor RV time, Ask RV. And Professor, welcome to PGurus channel, sir, and Namaskaram. How are you?
I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm all eager to meet with the audience of PGurus
Yes, sir.
as
Thank
usual,
you. Thank you very much.
as always.
We have people joining in very quickly now, and let us jump right on to our topic today. The topic today, viewers, is a corrupt society can never be a superpower. And to understand why a corrupt society hurts the chances of a country becoming a superpower, Professor RV will now talk to us, share his thoughts, and look at various sections of the society where corruption has taken a firm roothold. Professor RV, take it away, sir.
Well, thank you very much. It's always a joy to be uh, talking to the PGurus audience who are always interested and giving good feedback. And as usual, the request is to subscribe to the channel and encourage the channel to reach a couple of millions very soon. And now I think the channel has also got a significant number of activities. Practically every day there is something or other provided by the channel. Now today we will look at the issue of corruption and how a corrupt society can never be a great power. Immediately people will jump and say, oh, everywhere in the world there is corruption, and that's not the case. Europe and the US, for instance, there is corruption. The Sarkozy recently was also hauled up by the court for corrupt activity, the ex-French president. But as far as the retail, I call it retail corruption, common people in their day-to-day activity, they can carry on their activities without worry. You are registering your land, or running a restaurant, or doing this, getting a driving license, all these areas, huge number of areas. You don't have to worry in Europe or US. As long as your papers are okay and nobody is going to harass you. That is the significant difference. For selling Boeing or a major defense contract or some major power projects, or there the president or the top cabinet may be involved in corruption. But that doesn't affect the day-to-day activities of people. That's the most important thing. In our context, we have huge amount of retail corruption. Corruption has become seeped into our blood veins and umbilical cord, one can call it. That's the first thing. What about China? China does have corruption, but what one of my Chinese colleague used to say, we have regulated corruption. In the sense, Chinese party monitors whether if you overstep, then they pounce on you, as long as it is within the parameter. For instance, the famous case 5 years before, the Shanghai pension commissioner, he was actually sacked, and then later on he was also punished inside jail. That time I was there and I was talking. Somebody told the party felt that he has crossed the limit. In the sense, he has diverted huge amount of pension funds to his cronies, and so what you may loosely call, China does have corruption, but it's a regulated corruption. In the sense, party gives you some leeway, but not. But unfortunately, we have not regulated corruption or anything. One good news, because these days everybody wants to listen to some good news at least. After watching the TV about dead bodies floating and frantic messages about plasma, and the good news is, positive news I would say, the most secular activity in our country is corruption. That is something which you have to appreciate. If you take corrupt people, it will have Hindus, it will have Muslims, it will have Christians, it will have Jains, it will have Sikhs. So all grouping, and cutting across caste. Jats are corrupt. You will find Khatris, Kurmis, Tevars, Kammas. Across the board, you will find people are corrupt. So this is some sort of a unity in diversity. In the earlier part of the century, we used to have poverty as a binding force for India. Now we are slowly coming out of it. So now corruption has become a major binding force. That's something which is, if you want to take it as a good news, you can take it. That if you want to say which is the most secular activity in our country, it is corruption. That is something which nobody can object to or anything. And the most interesting thing is somewhere in the 60s, early 70s, late 70s. See, when I was doing my undergraduation, some 500 rupee per annum or something was given as a merit cum means scholarship, which is expected to be returned. This was when I was doing my UG. Then I went to Calcutta to do my PG, and the revelation was some 8 years if you teach, then 1/8 will be deducted, you don't have to repay. The amount which they might have given is some 1500 or 2000 rupees or something. No, I thought anyhow, I immediately went into teaching. So, but somewhere after a couple of years, I got a letter from the education ministry, Tamil Nadu, that you should return the amount. Otherwise, your car, your dog, your house and your everything will be confiscated. I was really puzzled. I went there and then checked and then told that, no, you didn't get it after your UG. I told there was no need because in my PG they were giving me actually monthly stipend. No, since you have not got it immediately after UG, you should have returned it. Since you have not returned it, you are not eligible for this 1/8 rule of teaching. And anyhow, I have been told by my grandfather, never, ever argue with a government official. That is one of the basic principle. He told me two basic principles. One is never argue with a government official. Second is avoid entering a police station, Thana, and a court. These are the two areas which you, even if you want to use the restroom, don't go there desperately. Because of course the restrooms are very badly maintained there. That's a different issue. So I don't want to argue with them. I told, okay, I'll return the amount. What else to do? Then he told, no, we have to compute it. In those days, there was no computer or anything. Only calculator, handheld, and it has to be. And then he went for lunch. Then there was one girl was sitting there. She told, sir, unless you pay something, this is a fascinating thing, to return a amount which you have borrowed, you have to pay in order to return it. Have you ever heard about it? That's an eye-opener for me. That girl told, sir, she has come there on quota. She is one of those OBC candidate. She told, sir, to join the job, I have paid 3,000 rupees or something, which is a huge amount in the 70s. So anyhow, so that is something very, very interesting. See, surely unless you pay, you cannot return the amount. And then she told, you are a peculiar person, sir. You are one of the very few who want to return the amount. Nobody here comes to return the amount. Anyhow, I told, I don't want to have any. Later on, after 10 years, somebody should say that he is indebted to the government. Anyhow, that was my first experience. The other one is crematorium.
Sir, we are dying to know. We are dying to know. Did you have to bribe to return the money? Did you
I didn't give money to return the money. There was no other choice. No other alternative available to you. Otherwise, you don't return the money. Anyhow, so other one is a crematorium. That was before the COVID crisis, couple of years before, beginning of the 2010 or. One of my friends' elderly father passed away. Everybody went to the crematorium. I was also there. It was written on the board that 400 rupees is some amount which you have to pay for all the usages. But the concerned lady who was sitting there, she told 2,000 rupees we have to give. Then, everybody was in a deep grief. Nobody wanted to argue or anything. So it was given after some time. They told you wait for an hour, we will give you the ashes. This is in one of the southern states. Then I was also sitting there. I started a conversation with her. I asked her, you collected 2,000. On an average, sir, some 8 to 10 bodies will come. And all the days it comes. Saturday, Sunday also people die in those days. So, so I was quickly computing 2000 into 30, something like 60,000. And annual 12 months, it comes to something like 72 lakh. So I was really puzzled. So such a huge sum, 6 lakh, sorry. So per month, and then 72 lakh. And then I asked her, what do you do with this money? She told, sir, you seem to be very innocent professor. You have to share it across the board. I am left with some 2 or 3 lakhs. I was shocked actually. I told her, you are left with, sir, to get this post, I have paid 15 lakhs, she told me. To get that post, with a condition that 3 years at least she will not be shifted out of that location. I asked her, what do you do with this? He told, I have purchased some land, gold and other things. So this is, I began to investigate. I found out very interesting, quite a number of posts are auctioned today in India. You should remember this. When X has become this position, Y has become that position, it is not just a government announcement. Behind that, there is a auctioning system. For instance, in Tamil Nadu and even in Karnataka, southern state, for a vice chancellor, you have to pay anywhere between 2 crore to 20 crore, depending upon the type of university you are going to be. And in that, innovation has come. My friend was telling, some of the major engineering colleges combine together and form what is known as a syndicate. They pool the resources to fund the person to bid for the VC. Because 20 crore is not a small amount. And after he becomes VC, they expect obviously very many benefits in terms of increasing the number of sections or various other type of things. Actually, it has come out one Krishna Bhatt, who is an MLC in Karnataka and who is a very well-respected elderly person associated with Sangha for a long time. He brought out a lady who told that she is being demanded to pay the amount in order to become a VC. She has applied for becoming a VC. It was a press conference he held another. It's not something which is unknown or hidden or anything. Once you begin to auction for position, you can imagine the fragile nature of our system. And this is all the more true in areas like police department, revenue department, wherever there is and there is no sense of shame left. For instance, recently, Tamil Nadu government was getting formed. Tamil papers openly wrote, Pasayulla department, ivarukku perukku, avarukku perukku. Pasayulla, now what they mean is all-time money, ATM departments, where you can make money. That's being printed openly and discussed. There is no, hide and seek about these things anymore. So there is a substantial amount of corruption-based black money generated. We have estimated in my book, India, and kindly buy that book, I always used to say, we have estimated at least minimum conservatively 10% of our GDP is in the form of this type of funds. Our GDP last year was 210 lakh crore approximately. So 21 lakh crore is floating in the system, which is due to this type of what one can call bribery, thievery, thuggery, and other. For all sorts of things you have to bribe, like acquiring assets, registrar of companies, carrying on business, and mostly the regulations are at the state level. We had, PV Narasimha Rao in 1992 who brought about significant reforms actually. He used the crisis of 91-92 and he abolished licensing for almost all the areas. He abolished controller of capital issues, who was considered as the Sultan of finance. Anyone who goes to Delhi will do pranam to him. He just told you, get lost. There is no need for a government bureaucrat to decide on share prices. It will be decided by the market. What we require today is 28 PV Narasimha Raos, every state and union territory. 28 Narasimha Raos to reform the system at the state level. You have enormous amount of regulation. Food and Adulteration Act. That is one type. And what does that act says? A lot of inspectors will come. Not many are there incidentally. And every restaurant will give him an envelope in the Friday evening or something. Some amount will be put and given depending on the size of the restaurant. I asked one of them, why do you do that? He says, otherwise that man will pull down the shutter. He has draconian powers. And similarly, Shops and Establishment Act. One cabinet minister in a southern state openly announced state assembly that if Shops and Establishment Act has to be implemented, 95% of shops and establishment in the state has to be closed down. You can imagine. The act is so draconian, it says sunlight should come into the shop, sitting arrangement should be there, like that, so many. So none of them can be done, so the inspectors come in. So the regulatory framework is primarily for bribery. Let's be very, very clear. They say that we should strengthen regulation. Many committees, I will also be asked to participate in another. Strengthening regulation means I am getting worried actually, which means, facility to pay more bribes. That is what is. I used to give a project to my student, very simple project. Go and set up a shop in Bangalore or Chennai or Calcutta or any place. But only one condition, you should cut corners. You should set the shop in a regular fashion. 3-month project. And nobody has passed that project. To set up a shop in Bangalore, you require 22 regulations you have to pass through. And the students, of course, students used to pass in terms of methodology and all those things. Not they were failing in that, but failing to set up a, it is much easier to get a gun in Bangalore, gun license, rather than setting up a small dukan. Because you have to have power connection, you have to have water connection, you have to have corporation clearance, and then to put a board, you have to have their permission. Everywhere you have to bribe. There is nothing less than that. If you see today in the COVID situation, so many fires are taking place. So many accidents are taking place. I'm telling you all of that, if you investigate, you will have bribe as a background. Instead of going and checking on the phone, you would have told, okay, without fire extinguishers, it is also okay. That's all. And so these people will be carrying on their activity. So this is all the tragedies happening. Underlying reason is the problem of bribe. So the government announces today that you should not charge more than 500 rupees. Or the government says that for ambulance you should charge some 2000 rupees. I always laugh. Who is going to obey this? Who is going to follow it? And is there any sanctity of the announcement being made by government? So I seriously tell, if you want to improve the GDP of state government, one simple thing is collect in an Excel sheet for the last 15 years who have been the corporators, who have been the officials, who have been the contractors. Very simple. 15 years list collect, freeze all their assets. The state GDP will double immediately. You will get so much amount of funds. National level to reach 5 trillion. Similar, freeze the assets of people belonging to any revenue collecting activity in the country. Phenomenal amount you will be able to realize. It would be invested in land, or it would be invested in gold, or it may be circulating for working capital to the small traders and other things. And people ask normally, what about the private sector? Oh gosh, as much as the public sector. There also one interesting thing, the socialistic private public sector and the capitalistic private sector are joined together. In private sector, it will not be called as corruption. For instance, there is a popular word called outsourcing. Outsourcing is done mostly to known people, relatives and friends. Unmarried mother-in-law will get the activity as a outsourced thing. Unmarried mother-in-law, sorry, it's not a very desirable expression. Unmarried sister-in-law will get the outsourced contract for non-critical areas like your travel, your flower arrangements, your other type of arrangements for, and then contact with the hotels. All these are given to, and the senior executives are quote unquote professionally run companies get all these benefits. These are not taxed actually; these are untaxed. So private sector is no different. There is a big department in every private sector called procurement department. If you go near that, you will understand what I am talking. So there is both are equally culpable, or you can easily say actually. So this is domestic. We also have global illicit funds. As early as 2010, we prepared a report. Magesh Jatmalani was there, Ajit Doval was there, and Gurumurthy was there. And roughly 1.5 trillion was estimatedly Indian money kept abroad. In those days, $1.5 trillion, not any ordinary sum of money or anything. So that is another area where a huge amount of corruption is there. And you think any of these members of a political class is going to punish others? For instance, one simple example, our Malya left. When he left, he was a Rajya Sabha MP. He used that privilege to carry some 12 big boxes and 3 small boxes and went to London as a Rajya Sabha MP with his privilege of being an MP. And after that, he resigned. You know one thing, in the midst of all this Telangana formation, Andhra and Telangana, huge confusion in Rajya Sabha, debate and chaos. Chairman mentioned one sentence, Malaya has resigned from Rajya Sabha. Nobody had any clue to what is happening. No debate, no discussion. It was accepted. In normal circumstance, he should have been expelled from Rajya Sabha. It didn't take place. My point is, the political class as a group will always be helping each other. They are never going to, don't expect anyone to punish. You may publish books. My color is, color of my money is red, and any color you put, nothing else, because they are all in it together. In India, in the last 2 decades, Jayalalitha was one who was punished. That was not due to government effort or anything. It was due to individual Dr. Swami's effect. And that Lalu was punished. Again, it is not due to any government effort. He got into a wrong situation in Fodder's camp, and some bureaucrats were. And then Lalu, of course, did not have to worry because he converted jail into a resort. Normally, people convert resort into jail by keeping all the MLAs inside in order to protect their voting situation. But Lalu was converted and he was mostly in hospital. Now he has come out also. What I want to say is the political class is closely linked with each other. Unfortunately, the media has also got into this. And one of the corrupt elements you can see in media. For instance, I have sat in some of these product launch as well as the dividend declaration by companies and other things. This is atrocious for regional media. They all are given one envelope with cash, I'm telling you. And of course, 5-star hotel luncheon. I used to ask, why do you do this? Otherwise, we won't get any coverage at all, or we may get even bad coverage. So, media at top level is sponsored. They would carry stories if you give adequate amount of funds or advertisements. So, media is not a reliable area. Political class is not going to punish its own members and others. So, we are into an extremely sad state of affairs. What about judiciary, you may ask? Less said the better. The Swayambhus. Because judiciary, one is of course, 71,000 cases are pending in Supreme Court. But they are focusing on what should be the height of this dahi andi, and how much midriff the Bombay, what do you call, dance bar girls should show. And, it's becoming the credibility of the judiciary has significantly eroded. For instance, a couple of years before, there was a big discussion with a very well-known lawyer. He is no more, Jetmalani, and various others. I was also sitting there about this issue of this foreign funds. So we have to file a PIL and other. You may be knowing it. Actually, Supreme Court finally decided to constitute what is called an SIT, Special Investigation Team. Government allowed it to be constituted on 2014 May. After government came into power, this was the first which was signed by the Modi ji government actually. Supreme Court collected in a sealed envelope quite a number of 2021 supposed cases. I do not know whether the envelopes are empty or does it have anything inside. Now they talk so much about transparency and this and that. Why can't Supreme Court tell what did they collect? What is the net effect of all these things? The most interesting thing is at that time the discussion, somebody told we will file a case. Another person told wait. Let us have another new judges taking place after the summer. At that time we will file because this is against corruption. The discussion is against corruption. But under which judge we should file the case. So I was reminded of an anecdote where a judge collected 50 lakh from one party and 60 lakh from another party. So there was at the day of judgment, there was between them one party. He got annoyed, the discussion by them outside. He told, I am giving back your 10 lakh. So both now are 50 lakh. So then they told, what are you going to do? He told, law will take its own course. And then went inside. So that is the type of judicial system we have evolved now, where people are what you may loosely call wanting to do the judges selection, not a selection to become judge. Sorry, under which judge your case should go. And speedy justice, in the olden days it used to be told justice delayed is justice denied. They say no sir, justice hurried is justice buried. So we should not speed up. So I am reminded of this by a judge himself told me this interesting thing. One judge was furious because there was a 70-year-old man standing in the box. Judge told him, what is this? How can you attempt to kiss a girl at your age? Are you not ashamed? I am totally upset about it. If you are 20 or 25, I could have, at least understood that maybe because of your age and your enthusiasm. And the judge went on and on, telling that what have you done is, I can't really, that man politely told the judge, dear sir, my lord, I actually attempted to kiss the girl when I was 20 only. But unfortunately or interestingly, the case has come to you now only. So that is why I am 70 now. That is why you are so much angry with me. But the incident occurred only when I was 20. So kindly consider that and then look at the situation. So this is the scenario of our judiciary. It is credibility has been eroded. So we have the government missionary credibility getting eroded. Media credibility is not there anymore, and that of the judiciary. And probity in public life is at a very, very low end. For instance, we had one president who went out of the term ended and he went in a car back and suddenly realized, came back and left the pen on the pen stand of the presidential drawing room. He told this pen belongs to the Rashtrapati Bhavan, not mine. There was one president like that. Can you believe? And his relatives, whenever they came from his hometown to see around Delhi and other thing, he used to pay from his pocket. His assistants were all shocked. This is the first president who used to pay from his pocket. Other presidents also used to pay from the pocket, not their pocket, other pockets. There is another president who left Rashtrapati Bhavan with 21 trucks, huge trucks. All of them carried the items, everything possible from Rashtrapati Bhavan, excluding Rashtrapati Bhavan. If possible, I think that also would have been packed. But it is very difficult to pack that. So, and later on reports suggested even those trucks were not returned. So that is the, so there is some hope in the context of the person who left the pen back, you may say. There are some situations like railway reservation significantly has improved now compared to earlier pre-92 time, because it is now completely computerized. Earlier, unless you bribe the, what you call the ticket checker, what you call TTE, you will not be able to get into the train. Believe me, sir, one divisional manager of railways told me, cabinet level, cabinet minister of railways used to ring up and tell the local official who should be put as TTE in which station. Bangalore station, put this man as TTE. Shialda, put this man as TTE. Like that time. Now nobody cares, because there is a good improvement, I would say. So to that extent, technology has facilitated reducing corruption. Yeah.
Sir, I have heard one story. I don't know how true this is. This person was a central minister, and this person, a central minister attached to railways, maybe Minister of State for Railways, I don't know exactly. But as this said minister's daughter, the said minister used to live in Bengaluru. The said minister's daughter used to go to college in Vellore, in Tamil Nadu. So the said minister started a train in the morning from Bengaluru to reach Katpadi at 10 o'clock. So this said minister's said daughter could go attend classes. The same train will turn around from Chennai and come back and pick up the said daughter in the afternoon. So basically, this minister was running this train for the said minister's said daughter.
Yeah, there are so many, like there used to be one gentleman called Ganikan Chaudhary. You might be knowing about Malda from Bengal.
ABA
He was
Ganikan
the
Chaudhary,
most
yeah.
enthusiastic minister.
Yeah.
He wanted every train to stop at Malda. So he told Brindavan also should stop. Somebody told, sir, Brindavan is between Bangalore and Chennai. How can it stop at Malda? So anyhow, so there are so many type of these horror stories. But there are some, the technology has reduced to the level of corruption in this allocation in terms of seats and other thing in the railways. Same way, I would say, passport office, phenomenal improvement have come because of technology. Today, you don't have to. You can go through the net, and then similarly paying of taxes, some taxes like your house tax and other thing. Many of the corporations have. So to some extent, I would say technology does help, but I am sure our fellows will find methods even how to sabotage the technology in order to get some benefits out of it or not. That's going to be a very long run out. But so there are some glimmering hopes what is available. As somebody suggested, at the end of every tunnel there is a light, they say, but at the end of every light there is a tunnel in our country. And more important is, as one bureaucrat was mentioning to me last week, if we reach end of a tunnel, immediately what we will try to locate other tunnels. So we are not going to leave anybody in peace. So when we become officials in government, our aim is to see that nobody sleeps. City has used to have one famous slogan, city never sleeps. So he says, in our case, we will not allow other fellows to sleep. So there is it's a tussle, and hopefully, but one thing we have to recognize, as long as this bribery and corruption are part and parcel of our society, we are not going to become any what one can call great power or global power. Or that is something which we should explicitly recognize and take steps. We must initiate swift and severe punishment for people. That's the only way. And we should cut down large number of these regulations at the state level, because every regulation is only giving rise to corruption. And the fellows take money because, sorry, one lower level official has a multi-story building. I know him. He has a huge amount of land and other things. I asked him, have you got, he's in the commercial tax office in those days. I told him, have you got any, what one can call, inherited? He told, no sir, all are God given only. Then I realized in Karnataka at least, in the secretariat, there is a huge board, government kelsa is Devar kelsa. That is, government work is God's work. It's written there actually in bold letters. So this man says that it's all God given means what? Government work he has done for 40 years and the Dakshina he has collected as part of the God's work. So once this system is not going to make us a great power, because anybody can manipulate, anybody can use this. For instance, getting your Rohingyas and getting people from other countries coming inside and getting ration cards and become citizens or any level. Sorry, as long as corruption is fundamental, it would be much easier for others to utilize the system. We are not going to be any great power anytime soon. We should recognize this and realize and take steps to overcome some of these issues.
Thank you, sir. I'll let you get your breath back and drink a sip of water while I start lining up the questions. And before that, viewers, a couple of requests from you. One is to spread the word about what we are doing here. Now we have lined up practically every day of the week a primetime program. We don't have one on Tuesday, but there are plans afoot to probably make a program on Tuesdays also. So Monday through Friday, every day of the week, we have a primetime program. And sometimes we have a primetime program on the weekend also. And like, as you can see, PGurus is evolving more and more into a platform where the thinker and the thought are expressed. So what we are really trying to do is to bring subject matter experts, thought leaders, original thinkers to come and express their views. You should look at it as views only. These are not edicts. You should apply your own mind to come at a solution, come to a conclusion as to what you think is right. This is not something that we are going to teach you. What we are trying to tell you is some of the best minds that are available on a topic will be coming on our channel, and your time on the channel is well spent. So for this, may we request you to subscribe to our channel A, and also consider joining our membership, because once the membership attains a certain critical level, we'll have members only programs where you will get an even more in-depth treatment of a particular subject that perhaps not everybody may be interested in. So these are some of the things that we can do, but for that we need to collect more critical mass. That is what we are in the process of doing. We are doing well, but we could be doing better. So please consider doing that. And if, with your permission, Professor RV, can I start questions now?
Are there any questions?
A few questions, sir.
Sure.
First
you want
question.
to announce next week our topic now? No.
Yeah, these are about our topic. This is about the topic, sir. Mr. Lee
next
wants
week topic I'm telling.
Oh, yeah. So the next week topic is going to be quota kingdom. Is it going to collapse? And this is what is going to be our topic for next week. Professor RV will talk about the quotas, all these things where, Supreme Court has already said you cannot exceed more than 50%, but that does not stop governments from passing slate legislations, laws saying that we will give this much for this community and that community and so on and so forth. These are meaningless because they cannot be applied anywhere, but they seem to have this glee to try and consolidate their vote bank by pandering, quote unquote pandering, nothing happens, to a particular group. and that also counter polarizes. The rest of the groups who feel entitled don't get it, they get upset, they go out against them. So this is a joke, this is a zero-sum game, but some parties indulge in it. The latest being Tamil Nadu's All India Anna Dravida Munnetra Kazhagam. I managed to say the whole thing, sir, party, and it did not give them any dividends. So these are all double-edged swords. So that is what we are going to talk about next week. So the first question from Mr. Lee: how did the US enact legislation to get out of the stranglehold of corruption, which was very prevalent at the time of John Rockefeller?
Yeah, they have, let us, even during the time of John Rockefeller, the retail corruption was not such a huge issue in US. No time, actually. This is the original Calvinist and the other type of what one can call the Christian groups, which came, and of course they killed a large number of Indians to prepare the thing. But they had what is you may loosely call, quote unquote, Protestant work ethics. And from the beginning, they had enormous amount of pride and dignity of what they are doing and other thing. So, for instance, one of my students from Denmark, he was doing a project. He told the amount of earning earned by an Indian cop is same that of the Denmark cop, adjusting for the purchasing power parity. And then he was wondering why the Indian cop is perceived to be more corrupt than that of Danish cop. Danish cop is not as. Then he told one of the major reason is a decision made by a Danish cop within the parameter cannot be changed even by the Queen of Denmark. So the Danish cop is extraordinarily proud of his position. If even if the Prime Minister parks in a wrong place, he can put a sticker on it and go. Nothing will happen to him. For instance, the immigration person in US, if he decides that you have to be stripped and you have to be denied, I don't think even your Joe Biden can ring up and try to change it or anything. It's not possible. Here, for instance, if a cop try to do something to you, immediately you can ring up a MLA or you can ring up a influential person, and that fellow will ring up and then say. So that is the major difference. So retail level corruption is significantly more here because of this lack of giving respect to the places and positions. One. Second, of course, is, I think many of you may know, US has got much more severe and swift punishment. They don't bother about the address of the fellow. Some of you may remember about our Rajat Guptas and other, what is that called? Subra, not Manira, not some Ratnam. Sorry, one Ceylonese person. Anyhow,
Raj Ratnam, sir. Raj Ratnam.
In spite of being such a, Rajat Gupta was, is something like a, king of financial empire. He was head of, he was wanting to move from millionaire to billionaire. But they told nothing doing. Have your collar and then move around. We will have to monitor it. So what I am telling is they are very, very clear about swift and severe punishment. Same thing happened for your Nick Leeson. Same thing happened for Boeski. So it's not something, but unfortunately, we don't have that signals given here. Okay.
Next question, sir. Are there certain industries by their very own nature more prone to corruption, such as oil industry or pharma?
No. I don't think. What you are asking is, are there industry-specific factors? I would say we are very, very innovative. Where it is not possible to be corrupt also, we will try to generate money. Except in some cases, the amount got will be very large, for instance. In a sense, let's take insurance. If you want to have a claim settlement of 300, 350 crores, then the percentage basis, obviously, it's a very large sum, right? It has got nothing to do with that particular um, activity, the nature of the industry itself. So it's not compared to a small retail level activity where the percentage wise it will not be so big. That's all. Otherwise, our fellows are very, very innovative. At the small level, what they do is low margin, high turnover. They would like to cover as many small fellows as possible to get the total amount to be same. At the high level, what happened, even if you get hold of one industry or one type of a settlement, you make your money. That's all.
Next question is, can India escape low-level corruption through greater digitization of government services rather than increasing the number of laws and more manpower in enforcing these laws?
Yeah. Actually, I have been arguing and I have been telling also the government can be cut into half. Nothing will happen. The current government strength can be cut into half. And this is the best time to do that. Most of the central government activities can be shifted to states. Already roughly 50% of the revenue is shared with the states. So increase it more, and the center can keep only 4 or 5 major areas like foreign affairs, aerospace, technology, and finance, centralized banking and other, defense, home affairs. These are some of the areas which they can keep. That's all. All other things can be shifted to the state, and state should introduce technology-based activities and solutions. That's the only way. As of now, they are increasing the number. That's not going system, and that's all.
Thank you, sir. Next question. Guys, we are not taking any more questions. We have already got enough for this program. We will start looking at the questions again for the next program. Like I said, the topic for next week's program is Kota Kingdom. Is it going to collapse? Now, the next question is from Lakundi Ananda Pramod. Corruption has been institutionalized even under Namo's Na Khaunga Na Khane Dunga. Can we say that demonetization failed?
Demonetization.
Yes.
No, that has helped in that particular context. You see, this black money and corruption is like a flow of a river. It continuously flows. It's not something which is going to be one. Second is, let's be clear, at the central cabinet level, there has not been any accusation at all so far about any misdoing or mal doing. But the most of the problem is at the state level, which we are not wanting to look at. State level, the problems are acute, and for instance, sorry, today the acute this pandemic crisis is partly arising out of our neglect of areas and corruption. You would say that, sir, we have constructed this clinic in the rural area where half of it only will be done. And instead of 5 beds, only 3 beds would have been. So enormous amount of leakage and corruption at the state level is something which we should focus, not at the central level.
Sir, next question from Krishna Karthik. Sree and RV sir, isn't the root cause of all corruption in India the money political parties pay for votes? Even BJP is paying these days.
Yeah. Incidentally, all over the world, political parties depend upon corruption. But as I told, they are wholesale corruption. For instance, in US, they have got what is popularly called the lobbies, as well as the political action committee, which generate funds. Some of it is given in the form of accepted check itself. Beyond $10 or beyond some amount, you have to give it in the form of, and it is all shown, and big businesses provide huge amount of fund. Recently, it has come out that Pfizer and other major companies have financed Biden's campaign on a very big scale. That's known. But in India, unfortunately, We don't have that culture. Some of them created a trust because everybody is worried. If you fund BJP, Congress, if they come to power, they may, harass you, or if you fund Congress, the other. So that type of a thing. Second is retail level. In US, there is not much of an issue in this. You cannot say that retail corruption is phenomenal due to funding of political parties. No, not there. Here it is significantly there at the retail level also. That is the problem.
Sir, this is a slightly different question, but I'll ask you, it's still interesting. Ved Samaya wants to know, Orthodox Hindu doesn't want central temple board. It can stop looting of temple. What is your opinion? Looting of temples by government now. The perception that governments are looting temples.
No, that I don't, it's a very tricky issue actually, because for instance, when Vaishnavi Devi temple was nationalized by Jagmohan, taken over by government, there were processions in Jammu appreciating it, because they felt the private trust earlier was completely mismanaging the workshop. Similarly, some of the eastern part of India, many temples, the Pandas are ruling the roost. People are not very happy about it at all. You get down from your vehicle, that fellow will come and surround you. So, every region, every areas have got different type of issues. So, just telling that temples are getting looted by government is not going to solve anything. Right? If it is serious, I would say BJP state government should formulate an act in order to make the temples outside the government control and make it into a model type of thing so that the other states can follow. And there is another issue. In temples, many people argue there is a secular activity and a sacred activity. Sacred activity starts from the Garbhagriha, entry of, and other secular activities like cleaning of the temple, electricity provision, security, preparation of prasad, and all these things according to them are secular activities. So it can be conducted by either government or by other persons. So that also has to be sorted out, whether everything is sacred activity or some of them can be considered as secular activity. That is something very, very important. And last point is, in India, the government is the one which should provide adequate amount of safety for temples. From the last 2000 years, the Rajas have always provided certain amount of benefit and safety. So the government should play some role, if not as control, at least as providing security and safety to the temples.
Srinivas Reddy wants to know, do you see any genuine
Sorry.
do you see any genuine intellectual churning in India, either in judicial or political or societal or academic spheres? Are there any intellectuals trying to fix a problem? Viewers, you should watch our Wednesday program called Indocracy. We are talking about this. So please continue, sir.
Anyhow, there is some churning is there, but not significant, because by and large, let us be very clear, Indian political leaders as well as Indian social leaders are anti-intellectuals. And intellectual in India immediately mean you have to be a leftist. You have to be a product of JNU, or you have to be mouthing all the Marxist-Leninist thing. That is what is considered as intellectual. That's not actually intellectual, that is anarchist actually. Anyhow, the point I want to stress is, there are some sprouts which are seen, which is primarily due to efforts of people like Balagangadhar, Rajiv Malhotra, and then much earlier Sitaram Goyal and Ram Sarup, and then Conrad Helst. Some of these, I am not, kindly note, I might have missed out some, but I am just telling, some of these people are facilitating the discussion and growth of what you may loosely call the other side of the picture. And actually somebody like Dharampal has written so exhaustively, nobody seems to be, but now many of it is coming out. in the context of because of social media as well as because of general interest. So I think some sprouts are seen. Over a period of time, these sprouts may grow and then blossom into good flowers and trees. Yeah.
Next question is from MD Ravikant. Is Modi's comfort to be surrounded by mediocre people so that he can be seen in good light the reason for Modi government's inability to catch the corrupt?
No, not that. Every ruler actually likes to be surrounded by yes men. If you sit in the chair, you will also do that. You will not like to be questioned. And slowly, if certain things become successful, and the success will be associated with you, and there will be more people to praise you. It's all due to you, and you get, what one can call happy about it. I always call in business as well as in politics, the reasons for success become the causes of failure much later. Kindly remember this. Reasons for success become causes of failure.
Akash Krishnan
Sorry. Huh?
Akash Krishnan wants to know the countries which are the most developed in the world had to sacrifice one generation. Is this the rule for any country to become developed? One generation has to sacrifice by working hard and not getting enough.
Not one. Actually, if you ask me, 2 to 3 generations have to sacrifice. Just not one. And then it is not just the sacrificing of that period. It should be sustained and carried forward. That is much, much more important. One generation has to hand over significant amount of values and interest and other things to the next one. That is how the many of the European and US and unfortunately they are losing it now. That's a separate issue. Yeah.
Anuradha wants to know, sir, your opinion about CITU extortion. CITU extortion. Do you have any idea, sir?
C
ITU. C2.
CIQ.
CITU. CITU.
CI
TU. Trade union.
C2. Oh, okay. Oh, many of these are, there is nothing called extortion. It is a traditional strength of our trade union is extortion. Throughout, actually, not that C2. C2 is only the CPM trade union you are talking about. AITC, TUC used to be there for CPI. All, then Congress had its own trade union. BMS is one of the largest trade union of Jansan. But now what is happening is, all these trade unions are losing their control and importance because technology has come about and for instance I think you may be aware that Amazon conducted a poll and quite a number of people were not enthusiastic about having a trade union. They don't have a trade union as of now, and everybody expected that all people will jump and the collective bargaining and all that talked about in the 18th and 19th century are all, they were regarding, for instance, working hour. Today, in many of the areas, there is nothing called a working hour. As one of my friend was telling, this is terrible. Even in the midnight, we can be called. And then, what is the concept of working hour? So, and all the, exploited and exploitation and other things are all gone. ESOPs have come and bribed a large number of people. Employee stock option scheme and other thing. So, trade unions are significantly losing their numbers. Margaret Thatcher did an extraordinary thing in breaking the backbone of the coal miners and other things. So, huge changes have taken place and so these extortions will come down, I would say.
Uddhav, your question has already been answered by Professor RV. How is China dealing with corruption? He's already answered that question. Let's skip, sir, because they still have a few more questions to go. Gaurav Singh wants to know, why not bring back jury system into the courts for India? Are the judges being foreign?
Agree. We should not only bring back the jury system, I will go one step ahead and say, maybe we should adopt the French system. That means you are guilty unless proved innocent. So it's not going to be a, and jury system is very useful. We should punish swift and severe. We may punish some innocent fellows. That's quite possible. I'm not telling it will not happen. But that's a price we should be willing to pay in order to clean up our effort.
Next question from Raghavendra. What is your take on demonetization and its impact on corruption?
Yeah, that again I told you, it's at that point of time it was very beneficial. To the extent of the 2 lakh, 2.5 lakh exact number I am not having, which went into the banking system that time, reduced the level of black money. And some portion didn't come into the banking system also. But it's not effective on a continuous basis. That is what people don't realize. It's a cross-sectional benefit. But after that, black money is continued to be generated and then operated. To deal with that, we must have swift and severe punishment by the judiciary. I think I did mention, I don't know, Dostoevsky in Russia wrote a book called Crime and Punishment. I think the current book in India will be Crime and Awards. If you are a big criminal, you get Padma, what do you call Padma Bhushan, Padma Vibhushan, maybe Bharat Ratna. Then you have all this Padma Sree and other things. So there is no relationship at all. For instance, so much has been written about NDTV and their issues of corruption, black money, and but NDTV conducts its own program inside the Rashtrapati Bhavan. What do you say for this? I'm not cooking up. It actually happened. They conducted
yes, the 25th anniversary took place inside the Rashtrapati Bhavan when Pranab Mukherjee was the president at that time.
Yes, it doesn't matter who is the president. It was inside the Rashtrapati Bhavan. So there is no. So it is a black money. Let us again and again, let me repeat, is a flow. It's a river flow. At some point you stop and get some water out of it. Doesn't mean you have solved the issue. So demonetization was helpful to have at that point of time.
Last question, sir. Shiva Prasad wants to know, is India a democracy? How do you rate the PMO controlled model of governance?
Yeah.
How do you rate the PMO model of governance? PMO model of governance. Is it a democratic way? Centralized governance from the PMO office. How do you rate it? How do you rate it?
No, it won't work in India. I have been writing, I have been twittering, I have been. India is such a large country. You cannot run it with this presidential form of government. Unless you have a presidential form of government, actually. Half of the states are not run by this party. So let us recognize you can have a cabinet form. Pre-Indira Gandhi time, there is a very good cabinet form of government. Regional chieftains were there. Atulya Ghosh in Bengal, Kamaraj, Nijalingappa, S.K. Patil, various. They were all flourishing. In the sense, okay, the local, regional, but at least they were not flourishing as the current F20, family F20. We will have next week after next the discussion on F20. This family of 20 is completely controlling the politics of this country. Sheikh Abdullah at Jammu and Kashmir to Karunanidhi Stalin at Tamil Nadu. So, PMO form of organized government will not work. Let me tell it very, very clearly. It has to be a genuine cabinet. What is the advantage of genuine cabinet? I mean, people with ears to the ground. Any day, politician with all the blemish, they have ear to the ground. They know what is happening at the ground level. Compared to bureaucrats, let's be very clear. Some bureaucrats will know, but not all. It is the reason why. See, Gujarat is a relatively a small state. When Modi ji was chief minister of Gujarat, many people will not know also, do not know who are the other ministers. He was just running it from his secretariat. But that model won't work in India. So the presidential form through PMO is the most undesirable model. And so what has happened is these cabinet ministers have all become messenger boys type, running here and there and there. And so you choose, it doesn't really matter. Any cabinet minister you can have because he doesn't have much of work. PMO takes care of it. And he calls all the secretaries of all the departments and he has given his phone number. That's what one report says. They can reach him anytime. And this model is not workable in our country.
Well, with that, today's episode comes to a close. And viewers, we are going to limit only to 5 questions after Professor RV talks. Because as you can see, Professor, we are really giving him a hard time. Poor man, his throat is running dry. So we have to consider.
Yeah.
We have to.
Are there 1 or 2 more we can take and finish it off?
No, this is the last one, sir. This was the last one.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I just want to try and keep it objective because also remember these questions are being asked in our live chat. So if you, before you enter your question, take a look and see if somebody else has already asked that question. Because then it doesn't make much sense to repeat the same question. The answer has already been given in the first time. So please take a look at that. That way we can have a set of 5 questions, good questions. I'm not saying the quality is not good. It is just that we want to try and make the best use of the time that Professor has for us. Professor RV, namaskar, namaskaram, namaskara, namaskaramu, namaskar for helping us continue and thrive in this new Reach Out to You program. Also viewers, when you watch a program live, there are no ads. So that is the incentive for you to come listen to us at 9 p.m. prime time. Thank you very much. Again, namaskar.
Thank you.